Do you ever just take the time to truly appreciate how freaking awesome the Pacific Rim soundtrack is? Because it's so good. What's up, everybody? D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be doing another Godzilla vs Kong discussion video. I got a bit of a headache today. Yes, now I know what it's like to be a Godzilla fan and watch my videos. Ha 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 ha. Isn't it funny? Because I hate Godzilla. Therefore, I give all the fans headaches. So today we're going to be talking about something that I've been asked a lot about. Actually, I haven't truly been asked about this specifically, but it's like something that's brought up a lot. It's not like they're asking it. They're more of like, when this happens, you're gonna... And then they make up their own interpretation. So today I will be talking about what will I do if King Kong loses in Godzilla vs Kong. Now, the reason I'm making this video is for a few reasons. Number one, I want to finally address a little bit, because I've addressed this in live streams before, on Twitter before. I've addressed this in the ETN mockumentary coming out for Godzilla vs Kong, and I've addressed this briefly in videos. I want to address a little bit of why I'm rooting for Kong without getting like too into it to take up too much time, but I'll talk a little bit about that. But also I want to make this because a lot of people are just like assuming that I'm an idiot, or like that I'm so blinded by the fact that I like King Kong that when Kong loses, if he does, I'm just going to be totally blindsided by it, and it's going to be like this huge moment for me, like it's going to be this huge world-shattering thing, and it isn't. So I'm making this video basically so that if Kong does lose, I can direct the comment section towards this video so that I can go, I have already covered this, I have already talked about what will happen if Kong loses. And I'm not talking about a story perspective, I'm talking about me specifically. What will I do if Kong loses? Because notoriously, oh man, I'm rooting for Kong in 2020, assuming the movie still comes out then. Like, how dare I? Oh no. What kind of monster roots for King Kong in the Godzilla fandom? I'll point out again one more time that TJ Storm, who plays Godzilla, and I are friends, and he's totally okay with me rooting for Kong. So everyone who gets offended by it, why? Why do you get offended by it? I don't understand. Okay, let's talk about some misconceptions here. The first misconception is that I hate Godzilla. If you think I hate Godzilla, you're an idiot. You're so dumb. You're just the dumbest person who's ever watched one of my videos. Actually, you're joined by a bunch of the dumbest people who have ever watched my videos. There's a lot of you who think that I hate Godzilla. How on earth could I hate Godzilla? I'm surrounded by Godzilla merchandise. Godzilla's literally all over. Basically, my whole life is consumed by Godzilla. I listen to the music nonstop. I play the music on piano. I've played the music for shows. Like, I've played Godzilla music for shows. I've spent how much countless money on Godzilla merchandising, spent how many countless hours talking about Godzilla, making videos, editing videos, watching Godzilla movies, all this stuff. I've reviewed every Godzilla movie. It's like, how much does it take to convince you that I'm a Godzilla fan? I don't understand how you could be so arrogant. And I'll say that Godzilla is my favorite fictional character of all time. He's my #1 favorite character ever. I love Godzilla. That being said, I'm still rooting for Kong. I'm still rooting for Kong because I love Kong. I know I say that I like them equally, and it's because I have like a dynamic with the two, you know, where they fluctuate depending on what I'm into at the moment, which one I like more at that given time. But overall, generally speaking, Godzilla is my favorite character of all time, just because at some points I'm more into Kong than others. That's kind of why I say they're equal to me. So that's just first of all. And I've seen a lot of really weird arguments over the year, right? It's only been like 1 year. Over the year that I've been rooting for Kong, I've seen a lot of varying arguments on why me rooting for Kong is like blasphemy, or why it doesn't make any sense. I've seen the sports analogy like 10,000 times. Like the sports analogy of, it doesn't even make any sense to me, because it's like, if you live in this state, right, and you claim to support your state, and you're rooting for a rival baseball team. You're rooting for a rival baseball team to beat your team. How could you say that you're a fan of your state? I've seen like that kind of argument. It's gonna be hard to break this to you, but but there's a lot of people who like the state they live in that don't like the teams that play for the state they live in. That's how it works a lot of the time. It's like not a new concept. There's other arguments. A lot of people like really draw it back to sports, and it isn't sports. So the comparisons don't mean anything. They're worthless. But a lot of people keep bringing it back to sports. Like, if you claim to be a fan of Hulk Hogan and then you're rooting for someone else to beat Hulk Hogan in a fight, how can you claim to be a Hulk Hogan fan? How am I supposed to approach that? That has nothing to do with Godzilla and Kong. That's so irrelevant to the conversation. So briefly, without getting into too much depth about it, because I don't want to spend time on it, and I really don't feel like I need to justify my opinion to everybody. And that's really what it is. I really don't feel like I should have to justify my opinion to everybody. You could just take it at face value. I want Kong to win in 2020. But here's a couple reasons why I want Kong to win. Number one is because I like the MonsterVerse incarnation of Kong more than I like the MonsterVerse incarnation of Godzilla. I don't view Godzilla as this one thing. You know, the MonsterVerse Godzilla isn't just Godzilla. Godzilla is a character who is in the MonsterVerse movies, and I love him, but he's not Godzilla, who's been in every Godzilla movie ever. You know, that's the MonsterVerse Godzilla. He's only been in 2014 and King of the Monsters in the comic books. That's all he's been in. I like the version of Kong in the MonsterVerse more than I like the version of Godzilla in the MonsterVerse. If it was the 90s, I would want Godzilla to win because the 90s Godzilla is my favorite. I love him. The Showa Godzilla movies are my favorite, but the 90s Godzilla is my favorite. That's that, you know? I don't know what to say here. I like the 90s Godzilla. So if it was 90s Godzilla versus any Kong, I'd be like, yeah, I want Godzilla to win. Yes, I'm rooting for Godzilla. But it's not that Godzilla fighting Kong. It's the MonsterVerse Godzilla. So I want Kong to win because I like Kong in the MonsterVerse more. He is much more sympathetic. He's got a lot more personality than Godzilla. Godzilla really doesn't have much of a personality. He does get pissed off when he sees Ghidorah, and I really like that, but he doesn't have much of a personality. So yeah, I want Kong to win. He's got more personality. I've got more of an emotional connection to the MonsterVerse Kong because he's a more empathetic character. That's by design. That's a scientifically designed thing. They did that intentionally so that it would resonate with audiences. It's like they actually played up the scientific aspect of what we connect to as audiences. If you don't believe me, go watch the Kong Skull Island special features and you'll hear what I'm talking about. So yeah, Kong's a much more empathetic character. I relate to Kong more, so I've got stakes in Kong more so than I've got stakes in Godzilla. He's the underdog certainly in the movie going into this fight. I just did a video talking about the odds between them. So it's like 60-40. Godzilla's he's got the overall franchise. He's got the benefits, right? He's got the win to loss ratio to justify him winning in this fight, whereas Kong, you know, he's the underdog. He's got the 40% chance of winning. So he's definitely weaker, and also going off in universe, Kong is definitely weaker. He's been presented as weaker already, so Kong is going to be the underdog going into the fight. That's always cool to see the underdog win, and everyone who says that's played out, there's a reason that's played out, and it's because it resonates better. If Star Wars happened, right, where Luke Skywalker in, let's go with Return of the Jedi, right, where he triumphs. If that movie happened and it just ends with Darth Vader killing Luke, it's not going to resonate with audiences well. The trilogy probably wouldn't have gone down in history as one of people's favorite trilogies because it had a very unsatisfying ending, because we know for a fact that Darth Vader is stronger. He's been told to us a dozen times that he's stronger. He just beat Luke in the last movie. So if he beats Luke again, if he just kills him, then what's accomplished? Nothing is accomplished. The guy who's the underdog, if they lose easily especially, what's the point? It's like everyone's saying, oh, well, the Godzilla vs. Kong is so stupid because Godzilla could kill Kong in one shot of the atomic breath. Think about how unsatisfying that is from literally every perspective. Even from a Godzilla perspective, I'd say that's unsatisfying. Even from like a Godzilla fan perspective, I think that's an unsatisfying victory. It's like the Condor. Do I sit there and go, you know, one of Godzilla's greatest victories was the Condor? No, I go, the Condor, that thing was so useless. They shouldn't have even bothered with it. Godzilla kills it in like one shot of the atomic breath and then a couple tail slaps. It's worthless. Why'd they put that in the movie? So it's that kind of idea. I just don't understand that whole, one shot of the atomic breath. And Kong, finally, he deserves some respect as a character. I feel like the Godzilla fan base does a lot of smack talking Kong and crapping on Kong, and it's really unjustified. Like, I don't understand it. You know, you got people backing up Mothra, right? They back up Mothra and then they turn around and go, but Kong, he's just a gorilla. Mothra, she's a goddess. Kong, just a gorilla. Kong's presented as a god as well. I don't know what you're talking about. He's presented as a god. He's not just a gorilla. I don't know what movie you're watching. Even the 2005 movie, Kong's presented as like something holy. So I really don't get it. It's just funny. It's like the double standard y'all hold the kaiju to. It's just, I'm trying to fight the double standards here. I think Kong deserves some respect. He is the character that without him we wouldn't have Godzilla. Kong's been the king of movie monsters for far longer than Godzilla. I just think he deserves some respect, and I don't think he has that respect anymore, and so I want him to win so that he can get it. Now, what if Kong wins? What happens then? Well, then I'll be like, sweet, the guy I was rooting for won the fight. That's what I wanted to see. I hoped Kong would win, and he did. That's great. Hopefully they do it in a satisfying way. If they have Kong win in some unsatisfying way, I'm not going to be happy. If they have Kong kill Godzilla, I'm not going to be happy. What if he loses? Well, nothing changes here. If they kill him, I'm going to be mad at the creative decision to kill him. I'm going to be mad at Godzilla probably for killing him. I think that's a mistake. I think that makes Godzilla very unsympathetic. I don't want to see him die. I don't want to see either of them die. So don't kill him. If he loses to Godzilla in some sort of unsatisfying way, I'm going to say it was unsatisfying. The same way that if Godzilla loses to Kong in an unsatisfying way, I'm going to go, yeah, it's unsatisfying. But if they pull it off, if they do something really cool with it, then awesome. Yes, I'm going to love it. If the movie's well done, if it's a well-made movie, I'm going to love it. I'm going to love it. You know, that it'll be one of my favorite movies ever. So it's like a lot could happen, you know, if Godzilla wins or if Kong wins, doesn't really matter. As long as the movie's well executed, it could still be like my favorite movie ever. I'm not going to be one of those losers that is like, if my character loses, I'm going to boycott the film. I'm going to protest and go to Legendary and tell them that they should not have done that. It's like a childish response right there. I just, if Kong loses, then he loses. Hopefully they do it in a way that's satisfying. If they don't, then I'm going to have a problem with that. But if they do, that's awesome, you know? At least they did it in a way that's satisfying. So if Kong loses, don't expect me to like come out and apologize for rooting for Kong, because I've been saying since 2014 that I think Godzilla's gonna win that fight. I think Godzilla's significantly stronger. I don't know why it would shock anybody that Godzilla's stronger. I don't know why it would shock anybody that I think Godzilla's stronger. Just because I want Kong to win doesn't mean I think he will. I think Godzilla's gonna win. I've been saying that for years. So I think Godzilla's gonna win the fight. So if he does win the fight, it's just gonna be like another thing that happens, you know? It'll be like another event that happens in the MonsterVerse. It'll be like when Godzilla beat Ghidorah. I'll be like, yeah, that makes sense. It was gonna happen eventually. It was bound to happen. So he did it. That's sweet. So that's kind of where I stand with it. It's like if Kong loses next year, everyone's gonna be like, oh, I told you so. I guarantee everyone's gonna be like, I told you so. And it's because I play into it a lot. You know, it's kind of my fault. I play into it a lot and I like mess with people a lot. Like at G-Fest when I was up there on the panel and I was like, see you guys next year when Kong beats Godzilla. That was obviously me just like joking around. But a lot of people don't take it as a joke because they're sensy. And when you get sensy people, they're just babies. So if King Kong loses, I'm not gonna be a baby unless they do it in a really unsatisfying way, and then I'm gonna be like, oh, the movie kind of sucks. And that's the same if Godzilla loses. I'm gonna be like, oh, or even if the movie doesn't suck, I'll be like, well, the ending sucks. That was a bad decision on their part. So that's kind of where I stand with it. If Godzilla wins, then he wins and I still love him. If Kong wins, then he wins and I still love him. And that's that. I know that's probably not what people wanted to hear. They wanted to hear me cry, but I'm not a baby like most of you. Actually, most of you aren't babies. It's a very small percentage of people that are whiny, but it's a very loud percentage, you know? It's like a very small, what do they call it? I forget what they call that, but it's a small percentage that's very vocal, and so I'm like exposed to it a lot. But at the same time, it's like, whatever, I love them both. If you have a problem with that, then you have a problem with that. Then my videos apparently aren't for you because you can't handle me liking both monsters. Thank you guys all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys next time. D-Man, out.